Pip had never seen a real human before. She had only heard the stories. Stories about creatures from a world so dangerous that most species refused to believe it existed. A world of fire mountains, giant waves, and air that could freeze flesh in seconds. A world called Earth. Today, she would see them with her own eyes. "Stay together," Instructor Quill said, her feathers shaking slightly as she led the class down the corridor. "Remember, this is an observation only. We will not make contact with the humans. We will watch from a safe distance." Pip walked beside her classmates. Gloop, a gelatinoid who looked like a moving puddle of blue jelly, kept making worried bubbling sounds. Skitter, a chitinid with 6 legs and 2 large eyes, clicked his mandibles nervously while holding his data scanner. "I heard humans can survive in boiling water," Gloop whispered. "That is false," Skitter replied. "They can only survive in water up to 60 degrees for short periods. However, they do willingly enter water hot enough to cook most species." "Why would anything do that?" Gloop asked. "Unknown. Their psychology remains largely unstudied." Pip stayed quiet. She was scared, yes, but she was also curious. Her mother always said curiosity would get her in trouble one day. Maybe today was that day. The class reached a large window that looked down into a bright room. Pip pressed her small feathered body against the glass. Below, she saw tables and chairs designed for beings with 2 legs. The walls were painted in warm colors. Artificial sunlight streamed through windows on the far side. "This is the Human Nutrition Center," Quill explained. "What they call a cafeteria. We will observe their feeding behaviors from here. Please note that the glass is reinforced and soundproofed until I activate the audio feed." "Are we safe?" Gloop asked, his body wobbling with fear. "Completely safe," Quill said, though her voice did not sound completely sure. The doors below opened. Pip held her breath. 2 humans walked in. They looked exactly like the pictures in her textbooks. 2 arms, 2 legs, flat faces with small eyes, skin in shades of brown. They moved with an easy confidence that made Pip's feathers stand up. The first human was male, young by their standards. He had dark hair and carried a bag. The second was female, slightly taller, with long black hair tied behind her head. They were talking and laughing about something. "They seem normal," Pip said quietly. "Do not be fooled," Quill warned. "These creatures evolved on a Category 7 death world. Their appearance of normalcy hides capabilities that would terrify most species in the galaxy." The male human sat down at a table. The female sat across from him. They continued talking, their mouths moving in ways Pip found strange. Human faces were so expressive, so many muscles moving at once. "Activating audio feed," Quill announced. Suddenly, Pip could hear them. "Mom packed extra peppers today," the male said happily, pulling containers from his bag. "Nice," the female replied. "Trade you some for my cookies later?" "Deal." Skitter's scanner beeped. He looked at it, and his eyes went wide. "Instructor," he said slowly. "What is a pepper?" Quill checked her own tablet. Her feathers puffed out completely, making her look twice her normal size. This was the featherling fear response. "It is a plant from Earth," she said carefully. "It contains a chemical called capsaicin." "Capsaicin," Skitter repeated. He typed into his scanner. The device beeped again. "Instructor, my scanner rates capsaicin as a level 8 neurotoxin. It attacks nerve endings and causes severe pain in most known species." The class went silent. Below, the human male opened his container. Inside was some kind of wrapped food item. He picked it up with his bare hands. "He is going to eat it," Gloop said, his voice rising in panic. "He is going to eat a level 8 neurotoxin." "Perhaps it is a small amount," Quill said hopefully. The human took a large bite. He chewed. He smiled. He took another bite. "He is enjoying it," Pip whispered. She could not believe what she was seeing. "This cannot be correct," Skitter said, checking his scanner again. The concentration of capsaicin in that food item would cause immediate nerve damage in any chitinid. It would dissolve Gloop entirely. It would stop a featherling's heart. The human swallowed. He looked perfectly fine. More than fine. He looked happy. "I want to request a transfer to a different class," Gloop said, beginning to flatten himself against the floor. Denied, Quill replied automatically, though she looked like she wanted to join him. Below, the female human noticed movement at the observation window. She looked up. She saw the alien students watching, and she smiled. Then she waved. Pip felt her heart stop for a moment. The human had seen them. The human was looking directly at them. The human was showing her teeth in what Pip's training said was a friendly gesture, but her instinct screamed was a threat display. The male human followed her gaze. He saw the aliens too. His eyebrows went up in surprise. Then he also smiled that he held up his food. He pointed at it. He pointed at the aliens. He made a gesture that seemed to mean, want some. He is offering to share the poison. Gloop moaned. He wants to kill us. I do not believe that is his intention, Skitter said slowly. I believe he is attempting to be friendly by offering us neurotoxins. Pip watched the human male shrug and take another bite. The female laughed and turned back to her own food. Instructor, Pip said quietly. What else do humans eat? Quill made a small sound of distress. Many things, young one. Many terrible things. Below, the male human reached into his bag and pulled out a metal container. He unscrewed the top. Steam rose from inside. He lifted it to his mouth and drank deeply. That is their next feeding item, Quill said, checking her tablet. Her voice became very small. It is called coffee. Skitter scanned it. His mandibles fell open. Level 7 cardiovascular stimulant, he announced. Instructor, he is drinking poison. Again, Pip could not look away. The human finished drinking and sighed happily. What kind of creatures were these? The steam kept rising from the human's metal container. He drank from it like it was water, like it was nothing, like he was not putting a cardiovascular stimulant directly into his body. How is he still alive? Gloop asked. His body had flattened so much against the floor that he looked like a blue carpet. I am recalibrating my scanner, Skitter announced. The readings must be wrong. They are not wrong, Instructor Quill said quietly. Humans have evolved to process chemicals that would kill most species. Caffeine is one of many such substances. One of many, Pip repeated. There are more. Quill did not answer. Her silence said everything. Below, the female human pulled out her own container. She opened it and began eating something brown and crumbly. What is that? Pip asked. Skitter aimed his scanner. It beeped. He stared at the result for a long moment. Instructor, he said, his voice strange. The female is consuming something called chocolate. Yes, Quill confirmed. My scanner rates the active compound as a level 9 toxin. The class erupted into panic. Featherlings squawked. Chitonids clicked. Gloop made sounds like a boiling pot. Level 9, someone shouted. That is near the maximum. She will die. We are witnessing a death. Silence, Quill commanded. Her voice cut through the noise. The class went quiet, but fear remained on every face and every body. Below, the female human continued eating her chocolate. She broke off a piece and offered it to the male. He took it and popped it into his mouth without hesitation. They are both consuming it, Skitter observed. Neither shows signs of distress. Neither shows signs of anything except enjoyment. Pip watched the humans share their deadly food. They were smiling, laughing. The male said something that made the female throw her head back in amusement. They look like friends, Pip said. They are predators. Gloop countered from his position on the floor. Predators often hunt in packs. They are not hunting anything, Pip pointed out. They are eating lunch. A lunch of poison. The door below opened again. A new human entered. This one was older, with gray in his hair and lines on his face. He wore different clothing than the young ones. He walked with a straight back and steady steps. That is Mr. Patterson, Quill said, checking her information. He is a human educator, former military medical specialist. Military, Skitter repeated. Humans have militaries. They fight wars. All species have conflicts, Quill replied carefully. Not like humans. I have read the reports. Humans have been fighting wars since before they developed space travel. They fight with weapons, with chemicals, with fire. They fight in groups of millions. Pip felt a chill. She knew humans were dangerous. But hearing Skitter say it made it feel more real, Below, Mr. Patterson noticed the observation window. Unlike the young humans, he did not seem surprised. He said something to the two students. They looked up. The male human pointed at Pip's class and made a questioning gesture. Mr. Patterson nodded. He started walking toward the exit below. Where's he going? Glup asked nervously. I believe, Quill said slowly, he is coming up here. What? Everyone remained calm. He is a military human. He is coming to attack us. He is an educator, Quill corrected. He teaches young humans. He has passed all safety checks. He will not harm you. You cannot know that. A knock came from the door behind them. The entire class jumped. Glup made a sound like water going down a drain. May I come in? A voice called. It was deeper than the young humans' voices. It sounded calm, friendly, even. Quill took a breath. Her feathers settled slightly. You may enter, she said. The door opened. Mr. Patterson stepped inside. He was taller than Pip had expected. Broader too. His eyes moved across the class, looking at each alien student. Then he smiled. Good afternoon, he said. I noticed you watching us eat. I thought I might come up and say hello. My name is Patterson. No one responded. They were too scared. I promise I do not bite, Patterson added. Well, not usually. That was a joke. Human humor. We make jokes about uncomfortable topics. We know what jokes are, Quill said stiffly. Of course. My apologies. Patterson looked around the room again. I imagine you have questions about what you saw down there. You were eating poison, Glup blurted out. Multiple kinds of poison. Patterson looked at the blue blob on the floor. He did not seem bothered by Glup's appearance or his accusation. I suppose we were, he agreed. From your perspective, anyway. Would you like me to explain? Yes, Pip said, before she could stop herself. Everyone turned to look at her. Quill's feathers puffed slightly. Young one, perhaps we should. I want to know, Pip said. Her heart was beating fast, but her curiosity was stronger than her fear. I want to understand how you survive eating those things. Patterson's smile widened. It was still a strange expression of Pip, all those teeth showing. But somehow, it did not seem threatening anymore. Then let me tell you a story, he said. A story about a little planet called Earth and the very stubborn creatures who refused to die on it. He pulled a small item from his pocket. It was wrapped in shiny paper. This is chocolate, he said. You saw Rosa eating it earlier. Your scanners probably told you it contains theobromine. Level 9 toxin, yes? Skitter nodded silently. Patterson unwrapped the chocolate. To us, this is a treat. We give it to people we care about. We eat it when we are sad or happy or celebrating. He took a bite, chewed, swallowed. Delicious, and to my body, completely harmless. How? Pip asked. Evolution, Patterson replied. Earth is not a kind planet. Our plants develop toxins to stop animals from eating them. So animals evolved to handle those toxins. Millions of years of this battle, back and forth. By the time humans came along, we could eat almost anything. He took another bite of chocolate. We did not just survive the poison, he said. We learned to enjoy it. Pip stared at this strange, dangerous, chocolate-eating creature. And for the first time, she felt something other than fear. She felt fascination. Nobody had ever explained Earth to Pip like this before. In her textbooks, Earth was described in numbers. Temperature ranges, gravity levels, atmosphérique composition, cold data about a dangerous world. But Mr. Patterson told it like an adventure story. Picture a planet, he said, walking slowly among the alien students. They parted before him like water around a rock. A planet where everything is trying to kill everything else. The plants do not want to be eaten, so they make poison. The animals need to eat, so they learn to handle the poison. This war has been going on for billions of years. That sounds horrible, Glup said from his spot on the floor. It sounds normal to us, Patterson replied with a small smile. We grew up there. We did not know anything else. Skitter raised one of his legs. Question. You said plants made poisons to avoid being eaten, but you eat them anyway. What is the point of the poison if it does not work? Excellent question. The poison does work on most creatures, just not on us. We are the exception. Patterson pulled out his communicator and showed them an image. It was a small red fruit. This is a pepper. The chemical inside, capsaicin, causes terrible pain in most mammals. It makes their mouths burn, their eyes water, their stomachs cramp. But not humans. Oh, it does cause pain. We feel the burn. But here is the strange part. Patterson's smile grew wider. We like it. The class stared at him in silence. You enjoy pain? Quill asked carefully. We enjoy this particular kind of pain, yes. When we eat capsaicin, our brains release chemicals that make us feel good. Endorphins, we call them. So we feel the burn, and then we feel happy. Many humans compete to eat the hottest peppers possible. Compete, Pip repeated. You have competitions? For eating poison. We have competitions for everything. But yes, pepper eating contests are very popular. The winners cry and sweat, and sometimes need medical attention. Then they celebrate. That is insane, Glup declared. Perhaps, Patterson agreed. Or perhaps we're simply different from you. He continued his slow walk around the classroom. The alien students had stopped pressing against the walls. Some were even leaning forward, curious despite their fear. Let me tell you about fermentation, Patterson said. This is when we take food and let it rot in controlled ways. You eat rotted food? Skitter sounded genuinely disturbed. We do. Some of our most beloved foods are technically rotted. Cheese is rotted milk. Wine is rotted fruit juice. Soy sauce is rotted beans. We discovered that controlled rotting creates wonderful flavors. I'm going to be sick, Glup announced. His body wobbled dangerously. Please do not, Quill said. Patterson seemed amused by their reactions. There is also pickling. This is when we put food in acid to preserve it. Vinegar, usually. The acid kills harmful bacteria but creates a sour taste that we enjoy. Acid, Skitter said flatly. You eat acid regularly. Citrus fruits contain acid too. Lemons, oranges, grapefruits. Delicious. Pip thought about this. Humans ate poison for pleasure. They ate rotted food on purpose. They ate acid like it was nothing. What about the coffee? She asked. Why do you drink that? Patterson's eyes lit up. Coffee. A favorite topic. Caffeine is a stimulant. It affects our heart rate and our brain. It makes us more alert, more focused. Many humans cannot function in the morning without it. It is a drug, Skitter said. I suppose it is by your definition. We also consume alcohol, which has the opposite effect. It slows our thinking and relaxes our muscles. You have a poison that makes you alert and a poison that makes you slow. Quill looked confused. Why would you need both? Because sometimes we need to be awake, and sometimes we need to relax. We use chemicals to control our own body states. It is very normal for us. The door below opened. The two young humans from earlier, Danny and Rosa, walked in. They looked up at the observation deck and waved. Would you like to meet them? Patterson asked. They are very friendly. The alien students exchanged nervous looks. They will not hurt you, Patterson promised. Humans are actually quite gentle with creatures smaller than themselves. It is an instinct we have. When we see something small and vulnerable, we want to protect it. We are not small, Glup protested. Compared to us, you are small. No offense intended. Pip made a decision. She stepped forward. I would like to meet them, she said. Beep. No, Gilgorn. I want to learn, Pip insisted. I cannot learn from behind glass. Patterson nodded with approval. Bravery. I like that. The cafeteria is safe, I promise. We can all go down together. Quill's feathers puffed and settled several times as she thought. Finally, she sighed. Very well, but everyone stays close to me, and no touching anything the humans offer you. That seems wise, Patterson agreed. At least until we test what foods are safe for your species. They walked down together. Patterson opened the cafeteria door and held it for them. Pip entered first. The room smelled strange, warm and rich and slightly sharp. Danny and Rosa stood up from their table. They were smiling. Hey, Danny said. Welcome to the human section. I am Danny. I am Rosa, the female added. Are you the xenobiology class? We heard you were studying us today. We were observing your feeding habits, Skitter said formally. We found them extremely disturbing. Rosa laughed. It was a warm sound, not mean at all. Yeah, we get that a lot, she said. Want to sit down? We can answer questions. Pip looked at the table. There were still containers of food there. Dangerous food. Deadly food. She took a deep breath and walked forward. Yes, she said. I have many questions. Danny grinned and pulled out a chair for her. Then you came to the right place, he said. We humans love talking about food. Sitting at a human table felt like standing at the edge of a cliff. Exciting and terrifying at the same time. Pip had taken the seat Danny offered. Her classmates spread out around other tables nearby, still keeping their distance but watching with wide eyes. Gloop had finally reformed into his normal shape instead of flat puddle. Skitter had his scanner out, recording everything. So, Danny said, leaning back in his chair. What do you want to know? Pip looked at the food containers on the table. Everything. How can you eat those things? These things are pretty normal for us, Rosa said. She pointed at each container. Sandwich with peppers. Coffee. Chocolate cookies. Water with lemon. Nothing special. For different toxic substances, Skitter announced from the next table. Level 8, Level 7, Level 9, and Level 6. Danny looked impressed. You can scan food toxicity levels? That is actually really cool. It is survival equipment, Skitter replied. Essential for any species traveling through the galaxy. We do not have those on Earth. We just eat whatever tastes good. Danny shrugged. Sometimes it makes us sick, but usually we are fine. Sometimes it makes you sick and you eat it anyway. Gloop asked from the floor where he had settled again. Sure, there's a fish called fugu that can kill humans if prepared wrong. People pay a lot of money to eat it. They pay money to risk death. It tastes really good, apparently. Pip shook her head. The more she learned about humans, the less they made sense. Rosa seemed to notice her confusion. Let me try to explain it differently, she said. For us, food is not just about nutrition. It is about experience. It is about culture. It is about connection. Connection. Pip repeated. Yes. When humans share food together, it builds trust. It is how we make friends, how we celebrate, how we show love. Rosa smiled softly. My grandmother used to say that you can trust someone who feeds you, because feeding someone means you care if they live or die. That hit differently. Pip thought about all the meals she had shared with her own family. The warmth of eating together. Maybe humans were not so different after all. My grandmother makes the best kimchi, Danny added. That is fermented vegetables with spices. Very sour, very spicy. She makes it fresh every autumn. Fermented and spicy, Skitter noted. Double toxicity. Double deliciousness, Danny corrected. When I was sick as a kid, she would make special soup for me. Ginger and garlic and rice. It always made me feel better. Ginger has mild anti-inflammatory properties, Mr. Patterson said from nearby. He was leaning against a wall, watching the conversation with quiet approval. Your grandmother was using food as medicine. Humans have done this for thousands of years. Food as medicine. Quill sounded interested despite herself. That is an unusual concept. Not for us. Many of our foods have health benefits. Garlic helps the immune system. Honey soothes sore throats. Hot peppers can relieve pain. The poison that causes pain also relieves pain. Gloop sounded completely lost. In small amounts, yes. We call it fighting fire with fire. Pip was starting to understand something. Humans did not eat dangerous food because they were reckless. They ate it because their entire relationship with food was different. They had turned poison into pleasure. They had turned danger into culture. Can we try something? Rosa asked suddenly. Everyone tensed. Nothing dangerous, she added quickly. I'm thinking about what foods might be safe for you. We have things that are very mild. Almost no chemicals at all. She went to a machine on the wall and pressed some buttons. A package dropped down. She brought it back to the table and opened it. Inside were small, pale squares. These are crackers, Rosa explained. Just ground grain and a tiny bit of salt. The blandest food humans eat. We give them to people who are sick because they are so gentle. Salt is still a concern, Skitter said. Sodium can be harmful in large doses. There is very little salt in these. Maybe 2%. Pip looked at the crackers. They did not look dangerous. They looked almost boring. I want to try one, she said. The room went silent. Even Patterson stood up straighter. Pip, Quill said warningly. We do not know if it is safe. Rosa said it is their mildest food. If I cannot handle their mildest food, then I cannot handle any of it. But if I can, Pip looked at Rosa. If I can, then maybe we can understand each other better. Rosa nodded slowly. I respect that. Here, she broke off a tiny piece of cracker, smaller than Pip's wingtip. Start very small. Danny leaned forward with concern. Are you sure about this? Pip was not sure. Her hearts were beating fast. Her feathers wanted to puff up in fear. But she had come this far. I am sure, she said. She took the cracker fragment in her beak. She let it sit on her tongue. The taste was strange, dry, slightly salty, a little bit grainy, but it did not burn. It did not hurt. It was just different. How do you feel? Rosa asked anxiously. Pip considered the question. Her body was not rejecting the food. Her throat was not closing. Her stomach was not cramping. I feel fine, she said slowly. It tastes strange, but not bad. Danny let out a breath he had been holding. Okay, that is good. That is really good. Gloop rose slightly from the floor. She is not dying. I'm not dying, Pip confirmed. A strange feeling bubbled up inside her. It took her a moment to recognize it. She was laughing. I ate human food, she said. I ate human food and I did not die. Rosa laughed too. Congratulations. You are officially braver than half the galaxy. For the first time since entering the human wing, Pip felt the fear fade away completely. These creatures, these Deathworlders with their poison diets and their strange customs, they were not monsters. They were just different, and different could be friends. Word spread quickly through the cafeteria. The little featherling had eaten human food. She had survived. She had laughed about it. More human students drifted over to watch. More alien students found the courage to move closer. What had started as a tense observation turned into something else entirely. Something like a party. Who else wants to try? Rosa asked. She had laid out different items on the table. Crackers, plain bread, small pieces of fruit that Patterson had confirmed were very mild. We can go slow. Test one thing at a time. Gloop wobbled forward. His body shifted colors from nervous blue to curious purple. I will try something, he announced. But nothing spicy, and nothing fermented, and nothing with caffeine. Got it, Danny said. How about plain water? Just to start. Water seems acceptable. Danny poured a small amount into a cup. Gloop extended a pseudopod and absorbed it. That is just water, he confirmed. Nothing unusual. Good. Now try this. Rosa held up a small piece of banana. This is a fruit. Very soft, very sweet. No chemicals except natural sugar. Gloop looked at the banana like it might bite him. Then he extended another pseudopod and absorbed the piece. His body went through several color changes. Blue to purple to pink to orange to a shade nobody had ever seen before. What is happening? Quill asked urgently. Gloop, are you in distress? I am. Not sure, Gloop said. His voice sounded strange. Higher than usual. This sensation, it is very strong, but not painful, not unpleasant, just intense. That is sweetness, Rosa explained. Sugar triggers pleasure centers in the human brain. Does it do something similar for gelatinoids? I believe so, Gloop whispered. He was still cycling through colors. I have never experienced anything like this. Our food is very plain, nutrient efficient, but not like this. He absorbed another piece of banana before Rosa could stop him. Careful, she warned. Too much sugar can cause problems even for humans. I understand, Gloop said, though his body was now producing what looked like tiny happy bubbles. I will be careful. After I have more. Danny was grinning. I think Gloop likes human food. Do not tell anyone, Gloop said seriously. My family would be horrified. Skitter stepped forward next. His logical mind would not let him stay back while others experimented. I will test something, he said, for scientific purposes only. Of course, Rosa agreed. How about a grain of sugar? Pure and simple, easy to analyze. She placed a single white grain on the table. Skitter picked it up with his smallest leg and brought it to his mouth parts. The reaction was immediate. His mandibles froze. His eyes went wide. His entire body vibrated slightly. Skitter, Danny asked, are you okay? Skitter did not answer for a long moment. When he did, his voice was barely a whisper. I need more, he said. Patterson laughed. It was a warm sound, full of genuine amusement. And that is why sugar is controlled in human environments, he said. It is too enjoyable. We have to limit ourselves. You limit yourselves from pleasure. Skitter asked, his voice still strange. We have to. Otherwise, we would eat sugar until it hurt us. Self-control is an important human skill, but not always successful, Danny admitted. I once ate an entire chocolate cake by myself. I regretted it for 3 days. Pip watched her classmates experience human food for the first time. Gloop with his color-changing joy. Skitter with his logical mind overwhelmed by a single grain of sugar. Even some of the other featherlings had tried small bites of bread and found it acceptable. Something had changed. The fear that had filled the observation deck was gone. In its place was curiosity, wonder, and the beginning of something that felt like friendship. Rosa sat down next to Pip. Can I tell you something? Rosa asked quietly. Yes. When we found out aliens existed, many humans were scared. We thought you might see us as monsters, as Deathworlders who could never fit in with the galaxy. Pip tilted her head. You were scared of us, of what you might think of us. Yes, Rosa smiled. But then we met actual aliens, and you were scared of us. And somehow that made us less scared of each other. Pip considered this. Fear meeting fear. Both sides worried about rejection. Both sides hoping for acceptance. My mother told me to be careful around humans, Pip admitted. She said you were unpredictable. Dangerous. We can be, Rosa agreed honestly. But we can also be loyal. Protective. Humans will fight very hard for the people we care about, even if those people are aliens. Especially if those people are aliens who are brave enough to eat our food. Pip laughed again. It came easier now. The cafeteria had transformed. Human and alien students mixed together at tables. Someone had found music and started playing it. Danny was teaching Gloop how to use a human fork, which was going badly since Gloop had no hands. Then the alarm started. Red lights flashed. A loud siren cut through the noise. Everyone stopped moving. Warning, an automated voice announced. Chemical leak detected in Section 7. Chlorine gas detected. All non-human personnel must evacuate immediately. Repeat, chlorine gas leak. This is not a drill. Patterson was already moving. His casual demeanor vanished, replaced by something sharper, something dangerous. All aliens get behind me, he ordered. His voice had changed too. Commanding. Absolute. Chlorine is lethal to most species, Skitter said, his scanner already beeping warnings. At the concentrations being reported, exposure would cause death within minutes. Pip felt fear return. Real fear this time. Not the uncertain nervousness of meeting strangers, but the cold terror of genuine danger. Follow me, Patterson said. Danny, Rosa, help guide them. We need to get to the safe zone. What about you? Pip asked. Patterson looked at her. There was something in his eyes she had not seen before. Determination. Purpose. Chlorine is dangerous to us too, he said. But we can survive brief exposure, which means we can help others who cannot. He started moving. The alien students followed without question. The Deathworlder was going to protect them. The corridors were chaos. Species of all kinds ran toward the evacuation points. Some flew. Some slithered. Some rolled. Fear filled the air like something solid. Pip ran with her class, staying close to Danny and Rosa. Mr. Patterson led the way, his long legs carrying him faster than anyone else. But he kept slowing down, making sure no one fell behind. This way, he called out, keep moving. Do not stop. The smell hit them first. Sharp. Chemical. Wrong. Chlorine traces detected, Skitter announced. His voice was tight with fear. We are moving toward the contamination, not away from it. The safe zone is past the leak point, Patterson explained. It is sealed, airtight. The only way there goes near the affected area. Can we not go around? Not fast enough. Trust me. Pip trusted him. She did not know why, but she did. They reached a junction. One corridor went left towards safety. Another went right towards Section 7. Yellow warning lights flashed along the right corridor. Patterson stopped. Everyone wait here, he said. What are you doing? Quill asked. My scanner shows life signs in Section 7. Patterson replied. 3 featherlings. Young ones. They did not evacuate in time. Pip's heart's clenched. 3 of her people were trapped in the poison gas. You cannot go in there, Quill protested. The chlorine will kill you too. Not immediately. Humans can handle brief exposure. Patterson was already pulling his shirt over his mouth and nose. Danny, Rosa, get everyone to the safe zone. I will follow with the survivors. I'm coming with you, Danny said. No. Yes. Danny pulled his own shirt up. You might need help carrying them. I am young and fast. I can handle it. Patterson hesitated. Then he nodded. Stay behind me. Do exactly as I say. If I tell you to run, you run. Understood. Rosa grabbed Danny's arm. Be careful. Always. Then they were gone, running into the yellow-lit corridor where the air was poison. Pip wanted to follow, wanted to help, but her body would not survive what humans could survive. All she could do was wait. Rosa led the remaining students toward the safe zone, but Pip kept looking back, looking at the corridor where Danny and Patterson had vanished. They are insane, Gloop said. His body was pale with fear. They ran toward death. They ran toward survivors. Pip corrected quietly. The safe zone was a large room with thick walls and sealed doors. Other evacuees were already inside. Medical personnel moved among them, checking for contamination exposure. Pip sat near the door. She could not relax, could not think about anything except Danny and Patterson in the poison air. Minutes passed. They felt like hours. Then the door opened. Patterson came through first. He was carrying a small featherling child in his arms. His eyes were red. Tears ran down his face. He was coughing badly. Behind him came Danny. He had 2 more featherlings, one under each arm. He was coughing too. His skin looked wrong, pale and blotchy, but they were alive. All of them. Medical staff rushed forward. They took the featherling children and began treatment. Other staff surrounded Patterson and Danny, fitting them with breathing masks and running scans. Pip ran to Danny. He saw her coming and managed a weak smile. Hey, he said, his voice rough. Made it. You saved them. Pip said. You walked into poison to save them. Could not just leave them there. Danny coughed again. Smelled like a swimming pool. Honestly, we have pools full of chlorine back home. You swim in chlorine. Yeah, keeps the water clean. He laughed, then winced. Okay, laughing hurts right now. A medical officer pushed Pip back gently. He needs treatment. You can talk later. Pip stepped back and watched them work on Danny, the human boy who ate poison for breakfast and walked through poison gas to save strangers. Hours later, the crisis was over. Engineers had sealed the leak. The station was safe again. Pip found Danny in the recovery room. He was sitting up in bed, looking tired but healthy. Patterson was in the next bed, asleep. How do you feel? Pip asked. Sore throat. Burning eyes. No sin permanent. Danny shrugged. Human bodies heal fast. Pip had brought something. She held it out nervously. Rosa showed me how to use the machine, she said. I wanted to bring you something. As thanks. Danny looked at the item in her wing. His eyes widened. Is that chocolate? Rosa said you like it. She said it is level 9 toxin, but you eat it when you want to feel better. Danny took the chocolate bar. He stared at it for a long moment. This is the nicest thing anyone has ever done for me, he said quietly. You saved 3 of my people. Chocolate seemed small in comparison. It is not small. It is perfect. Danny opened the wrapper and broke the bar in half. Want to share? Pip looked at the chocolate. The deadly, delicious poison that humans ate for joy. I cannot eat that, she said. It would kill me. I know, but you can sit with me while I eat it. That is what sharing really means. Being together. Pip settled onto the bed next to Danny. She watched him eat the chocolate, watched the happiness spread across his face despite his injuries. I learned something today, she said. What? I learned that what we call toxic, you call dinner. What we call danger, you call normal. And what we call monsters. She paused. We should call friends. Danny smiled. It was still strange, all those teeth showing. But now it looked like exactly what it was. Warmth. Welcome. Trust. Friends, he agreed. Behind them, Patterson stirred in his sleep. He mumbled something about pepper contests and fell silent again. Pip laughed softly. Danny joined her. Outside the window, the stars burned cold and distant. But inside this small room, something warm had begun out of friendship between species. A bridge between worlds, built on chocolate and crackers and the strange, wonderful humans who turned poison into kindness. And in the xenobiology classroom the next week, when Instructor Quill asked what the students had learned, Pip stood up. "I learned that humans are exactly as dangerous as we thought," she said. "But they use that danger to protect others. I learned that what seems toxic might just be different. And I learned that bravery is not about being unafraid. It is about being afraid and still walking toward the danger to help someone else." She looked at Quill, at her classmates, at the observation window where this had all begun. "I learned that Deathworlders can be friends." Gloop raised a pseudopod. "Instructor, can we schedule another trip to the human cafeteria? I want to try more of the yellow fruit." Quill's feathers puffed out, but she was smiling. "I will make the arrangements," she said.